Welcome students. I am Amisha Shirodkar Pednekar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Botany at Parvatibai Chogale College, Margao. Today we will be seeing Unit 2, Reproduction of Algae, Vegetative and Asexual Modes. Outline: there are three modes of reproduction in algae: vegetative, asexual and sexual. Today we are going to study the first two. Learning outcome of this lecture will be, you will be able to identify and describe the different modes of vegetative and asexual reproduction of algae. Introduction. What are algae? Algae are chlorophyll bearing organisms. These algae have unicellular sex organs. If the sex organs are multicellular, then all cells are fertile, and that is how algae differ from other plants. So, methods of reproduction in algae, like I said, there are three types: vegetative, asexual and sexual. In addition to that, during adverse conditions, sometimes some perinating bodies may be developed. So, there are 10 different types of vegetative reproduction that we will be seeing today, one by one. The first one is cell division. Cell division is also known as fission. In this case, there is a mother cell that develops a septum in the middle and undergoes division. Due to division, it then forms two daughter cells. Both these daughter cells are then capable of surviving as individuals. The next type is fragmentation. Fragmentation is common in filamentous forms of algae like Spirogyra. In this case, the long filament will break or fragment into two, and then those fragments can survive as individuals. At times, in colonial forms of blue-green algae like nostoc balls or nostoc colonies, they also fragment, and then the chunks which are formed can survive as individual colonies. Third type is hormigone formation. Here, the trichome divides into smaller pieces which are covered with a thin layer of mucilaginous sheath known as hormigones. These hormigones can then give rise to a new organism. Next is hormospores or hormocysts. These are similar, but they are little thick walled and formed during slightly drier conditions. Fifth one is adventitious thalli. Adventitious thalli is seen in larger thalloid forms of algae like Fucus, Dictyota. Here you see that the growing tip will keep growing, and at a particular point will get detached from the main thalli and then can survive as a separate individual. Next is primary and secondary protonema. This is found in alga like Chara. These are thin thread like vegetative structures which are formed at the node, and then they can give rise to a new plant. Seventh one is tubers. Tubers are more or less globular in structure, and they are full of starch, and they are produced at the nodal region, and once they are detached from the main parent plant, they can then form a new plant. Next one is amylum stars. These are also known as starch stars because they store starch, and the word stars because of its appearance which is star like. Next is bulbils. Bulbils are bud like, smaller in structure, smaller in size, and they are produced on rhizoids, and once they detach, they also can give rise to a new plant. The last one in vegetative reproduction is akineids. Akineids are thick walled and they have rich food reserves, and they are produced in chains. Usually they are spores produced in chains of 10 to 40. Moving on to asexual reproduction, there are 12 different types that we will be seeing today one by one. First one is zoospores. Zoospores are motile spores. These are produced in structures called as zoosporangia. They are flagellated, and they may be biflagellate, quadriflagellate or multiflagellate in nature. Next type is Pamela stage. Sometimes what happens is these zoospores are not liberated and they remain within the parent plant, and they develop a small sheath around them. Such stages are called as Pamela stage. Pamela stage is not very common in algae though. Next we have aplanospores. Aplanospores are produced when there are slight adverse conditions. They are thin walled and they have food reserves within them. At times these spores become thick walled and they have abundant food reserves. In such conditions they would then be referred to as hypnospores. Fifth type is autospores. Autospores are spores which complete their development before the liberation. That means when they are liberated, they are almost similar to their parent plant. Next, endospores. Endospores are formed from the protoplast and these are common in some cyanobacteria. Seventh one is oxospores. Oxospores are seen in members of Bacillariophyceae where the spore releases and then can give rise to a new plant. Eighth one is carpospores. Carpospores are very commonly found in members of Rhodophyceae. They are produced inside a carposporangium. These red algae also produce tetraspores. Ninth one is monospores. Now monospores are spores which are produced singly in a single sporangium, in a monosporangium. Then we have daughter colonies. Daughter colonies are common in green algae, that is in members of Chlorophyceae like volvox. In this case the colony the coenobium, it undergoes division and it forms smaller daughter colonies. Eventually the parent coenobium or the parent colony will degenerate and the daughter colonies are released and they can survive on their own. Then we have statospores. Statospores are thick walled spores. These are produced in diatoms usually and they are produced along with structures called as frustules. And the last type we have Gongrosera. Now Gongrosera are also thick walled spores. Gongrosera, the name is because the appearance is similar to that of a genus called as Gongrosera. These are my references. Thank you.